Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name is Ray, the Market Trader. And before we get started, we'll need to go through our obligatory risk disclosure. Okay, so give this a little bit of time to percolate here a little bit. Just make sure that's visible to folks. And so just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and his affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice or an offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, future, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk. And companies, partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risks. Not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation to offer, buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, we're going to go ahead and now turn our attention to our financial portal and see what our financial portal has to say. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. Risk disclosure, we're going to go ahead and move to this screen here. Right, so we're going to take a look here at our financial portal, see what news events we have today that could potentially impact the markets. Again, we're still we are in earnings season. Okay, so a lot of banks are reporting. Morgan Stanley, I understand, reported 45% profit in yesterday's earnings. So banks seem to be doing okay. So we'll see if these other banks kind of follow suit here. Now, we do have a number of Fed members speaking throughout the day. We have a couple of reports on manufacturing, U.S. New York Fed manufacturing. We have the IMF reporting. So these are coming in as orange, so indicating that there is some potential impact of the markets. And otherwise, we have a number of Fed members speaking throughout the day. May or may not have, but as you know, we are always, somewhat exposed to headline risk, especially when it comes to anything related to tariffs. So that's something to be aware of, but obviously difficult to manage. All right, around, I should say. Okay, so let's go ahead now that I've gotten through the portal here, financial portal. We're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the trading platform here and see if what kind of context we can generate from the markets. All right. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dirk. Good morning, Marie. Good morning, Anthowell. Good morning, Dave S. Let's take a look here at as we normally do, the gold market. Okay. Was kind of taking a peek at this a little bit earlier, but looking at the daily chart, you can see yet again we have a candle that is looking to drive higher. Okay, market does not seem to be relenting the fact that it wants to continue in that direction. Now we are getting a little bit of selling pressure in some of these moves to the upside, but the grand rising millionaire, yes. So again, we continue to get evidence that the market wants to continue to the upside. As I kind of navigate this, you can see that we're in this low volume area on the volume profile. Again, indicating to us that we are very much in some sort of trend. If we are in a trend and people can't get enough of whatever you're selling, prices are going to get, our supply and demand is going to say, well, you're going to have to pay higher for that. Okay. So that's kind of the situation that we're in with gold market, where we've crossed the 4,200 level. We're above the 4,200 level, or kind of, So 4,203 is as from what I can gather here at the moment. So the market continues to show signs of strength here to the upside. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart again, you can see that we continue in that mode. A little bit on the 4-hour, we see that we have maybe a little bit of maybe a little bit of balance going on right now. Balance trade going on between the buyers and the sellers. We have wicks on both ends of the candles here, okay, indicating that there is a fair amount of interest on both sides. A little bit extended away from the 9 EMA, but not in an awful way, I guess. But we are seeing maybe a little bit of more balanced kind of price action of late in an otherwise market that continues higher. Okay. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart and let's see what the other sessions were able to do with this market. So you can see here this we got up to what appears to be around 42.40. Is that right? 42.40. And looks like we found some potential sellers here, right? So we got to 42.40, right around this range right here. Okay. And you can see that we found some sellers above us here. Okay. So the question now becomes, how far do we need to go, right, on this 30-minute chart before we start to find some buyers, right? So we're at a level now, right, this 4190 level, okay, or 4200 level, right around this level, okay. We see that we've had some interest in gold at these levels, right? Right. You can see that we made an attempt to go lower, only to be scooped up by buyers. We make another attempt to go lower, and so far the buyers have been able to react. Okay. Nonetheless, we can see that price is below our 9 EMA. Price is below our VWAP. I would say that both the VWAP and the 9 EMA are a bit on the flat side. So that indicates to us that maybe we are in the beginnings of some sort of range kind of price action in the gold market. Okay. So as I've coined in the past, maybe a little bit of a digestion phase, okay, going on the gold at the moment. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile. Let's go ahead and see what where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. And so we're going to go ahead and look at Tuesday here. All right, and we're going to take a peek at where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. All right, so here we are. You can see that price is above, right? Is above our valued zone. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this area as an area of interest should we come back to it. Okay, so this area down below here around 4170, 4169 does appear to be an area that could be at some point supportive. We did make an attempt to come down to that level only to find some buyers. Okay, so this happened somewhere during the London session. We made an attempt to go lower, only to find buyers. Now, I cannot deny the fact on the lower time frame chart, we are maybe beginning to create some structure that would indicate maybe we head lower, okay, in this market. Higher time frame obviously continues to show signs of strength, maybe a little bit of balance, maybe a little bit of range, okay. So we're going to go ahead and take a look now at the initial balance and see what the initial balance ranges were able to do across these various markets. Yeah, still scooping and scoring. Buyers keep popping out of nowhere. Yes. Okay. Let's take a look here at the Asia session. All right. We'll take a peek here at the Asia session. So you can see Asia. Nice little trade here, right? On Asia. This is about as A+ as it gets here, guys. We had a nice strong move to the upside. You know, they came back and they picked up some passengers that did not board the plane or did not board the rocket ship, and off we went to the upside, right? Nice extension here. I don't know what I probably need to define a new level here, but this looks like at least up to the 250% extension of this initial range, right? So we got a nice push to the upside. We got a retracement back to VWAP and the 9 EMA that we all care about, and then we continue to extend here to the upside, and it provided a nice 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1 kind of opportunity, right? right? That's kind of the extension that we got here. At least 3-1. Okay, at least 3-1. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the London market here. All right. Take a look at London and see what London was able to do with all this. Well, London really did not embrace what Asia had to bring. Okay. London said, well, I understand that you guys want to take this market higher. We don't really believe in it. We're going to actually take the market lower. All right. So we got a nice extension to the downside. We got to the 200% extension with this wick. This seems to be a little bit news driven. I don't know if we had any sort of news overnight that would cause that. But in any case, we got a nice extension to the downside, right? We got, maybe a failed auction opportunity, possibly. Okay, maybe it could offer us maybe a little bit of a failed auction. But in any case, we got to move to the downside. We got a push back inside initial balance. Probably got to, I don't know, maybe the 61.8% of this move, maybe as high as, if I just look at the bodies, it looks like 61.8%. And then we found some more sellers. Okay. So right now we are below initial balance from London. We are below our VWAP, and we're below our 9 EMA, giving us an indication that maybe there's more downside to this market. I'm a little leery, right? I'm a little leery about this candle here. But the question now becomes are there enough participants in this market to continue to drive the reverse the current kind of structure that we're currently in, which is bearish, and are they able to kind of move us back or generate a swing back to the upside? Okay, we're at a level now. This 4,200 level, I think, is a point of contention here, right? So 4,200. I'm going to go ahead and draw a little bit of a line here to indicate that this is still kind of an area of interest here. So this area, right, assuming we could stay above it, could offer us maybe a location for price to head back to the upside. But I am leery, right, that price is below our 9 EMA, below our VWAP, and below our initial balance from London, right? 2 trades, Asia, we're full good risk reward. Too bad I'm not available at those times. I hear you, Aslan. Yeah. Okay. So in any case, we understand that we on a higher time frame, we are still very much in some structure to the upside. Okay. On the daily, you can see that we were getting some candles that looked like they were maybe looking a little bit more rangy, right? Maybe on the 4-hour, maybe that was the series. Let's take a quick peek. Let's just kind of, before I make my final kind of conclusion here. All right, so we have a developing bearish engulfing candle right now in the gold. You can see that we have wicks on both ends of the candles, indicating that maybe we are going to be in some sort of range in this market over the next few hours. Okay, so I will have to say maybe that I'm kind of neutral to bullish, I guess, in this market. I do understand that, and I am developing a little bit in the way of a bearish candle here. So if you wanted to look for an opportunity that would take us maybe back down to the 9 EMA, I can't deny that, right? Possibility. That's certainly possible. But given this overall kind of structure that we're in, I don't see that we are in super strong structure to the downside. Okay. Yes, I did. I did mention Marie for tax purposes. Yes. Right. Okay. All right. So I headed into this session. I would say that I'm probably, again, a more neutral on the market. I'm going to have to see exactly what the initial balance is going to do during the U.S. session here. So let's go ahead and open that right now. We see that price is below London, so indicating that we've gotten some initiative price action to the downside. I would love to maybe an opportunity here for maybe price to come back down to this value range and maybe offer me an opportunity for a bounce. I think that would be a reasonable area for price to reverse away from. This 4170 level, I think, would be an excellent location for an opportunity to the upside, right? And that would still kind of maintain both views, right? That we are a little bit bullish and potentially in range today. Okay. All right. So let's see if there's anything else that I want to call out here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the gold. Let's go ahead and move on to the crude oil market. Crude oil market has been kind of a tricky market to trade, to be honest. We'll take a look at the daily chart. Okay. And again, you can see that we've been in this kind of downside structure here for some time. We're starting to see maybe a little bit in the way of some overlapping candles here of late. I don't know whether the bulls necessarily have the strength to continue to drive to reverse this current trend, but I do see that evidence of more buyers kind of coming into this market, right? You can see here, right? The last time we were in this kind of zone, right? More evidence of buyers. Eventually they were able to get a swing out of it, right? More evidence of buyers. Maybe the same will hold true. Okay, so right now I would say this 59 level is relatively important. I think we've already seen signs at 58 is also equally important. But right now on the daily chart, I cannot deny the fact that we are in some sort of bearish structure. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that and see. So you can see we're going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance here for a moment. All right, so initial balance, again, I don't know if we are developing a little bit of a bottoming pattern here. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe there's some evidence that maybe we are developing a little bit of a kind of an ugly looking kind of W pattern. But I can't deny that we have a 4-hour candle that's crossing above our 9 EMA. Our 9 EMA is starting to kind of curve up. 60, I think, remains an area of to watch. Okay. Are we going to stay in range? All right. Are we going to stay in range here around the 60 level? Or are we going to use that level maybe springboard to kind of revisit these highs, right? So 60, right? 60 could cause us to stay in range or could cause us to continue to the downside here. Not really interested necessarily to kind of participate here necessarily in the middles. Yeah, strange delta volume. Exactly. A little bit of divergence here, right? We have a lot of selling coming in, right? Not a lot, but more sellers than buyers. Yet we've developed a bullish candle. So a little bit. Are we trapping sellers here? Have sellers gotten so biased to the downside that maybe we've trapped some sellers down below? That's what it looks like, right? Are we issuing some pain to some folks that maybe think that they can continue to take this market lower? That's what it looks like to me. Okay. What are the levels with the short yellow horizontals again? So this is 60. This is 60. This is 60 right here. Nice even number, 60. Okay. So if we come back to that level, that would be a natural level for price to continue. Right now, we're seeing a little bit of a disconnect between the price candle and our volume. Volume still continues to be bearish. Price candle does not align with that. Are we trapping some sellers here? That's what it looks like right now to me. Okay. Let's move on to the 30-minute chart. Okay. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we are beginning to break some structure here to the upside, right? You can see that price has broken above. Now, again, anytime I break any sort of structure, I always like to mark that level because that offers me a location where I could potentially participate in this market, right? So looks like this 58.90, okay, 58.90. If I'm looking at this from a 30-minute point of view, would be a logical location for price to come back to and reverse from. Okay. That would be if I believe in this move, and I think the move can at least go up to the 60 level, then I have a level here at 58.90 that could offer us, a trade, I think a reasonable trade up to the 60 level, right? Up to this point of control around 59.73 does not seem to be out of the realm of possibilities here. Okay. So I'm just kind of seeing if I can get that back. It looks like I lost it. Okay. Okay. In any case, let's take a look here at the fixed range volume. Oh, there it is. This fleeting point of control that I was trying to draw. So a little bit of a double distribution that's going on here. We have a point of control and this target above the highs here that could offer us maybe a magnet to price. Okay. Perfectly reasonable. All right. let's take a look at the fixed range volume profile. Let's take a look and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. So we're going to go ahead and start with the 9 a.m. candle, drag that to the 4:30 candle here. And you can see that price is well above value. Okay. So that's, again, another indication that there's interest, that people are willing to pay a little bit of a premium to participate in this market. Okay. So we have 58.70, which is just below this 58.90 level. Looks like that is a period, shows maybe some signs of an area where we might be able to get some interest from buyers. Okay, so we have 58.90, 58.60, right? 58.70, I should say. A couple locations where maybe we could participate here to the upside. Okay. Let's take a look at what the initial balance is telling us here. So we're going to go ahead across the various markets, and we're going to start off with the Asia market, and then we're going to move our way to the London. Okay. So let's, I'm going to keep my lines if I can here. All right. So you can see that Asia kind of took a peek below, right? It took a peek below, found some buyers here at the 100% extension of the initial balance range, and it has not been down, it has been up ever since. Okay. Nice sustained kind of auction that we're seeing currently in the crude oil market. Okay. Nice sustained auction here to the crude oil market, right? If I move over to the London, I suspect that if we haven't broken to the upside, we are going to very soon. Okay. So let's take a look. Yes. Nice extension of the crude oil to the upside. Now, if London loves its crude. Yes. All right. So again, are we coming up to an area again similar to what we were talking about earlier? Right? Could this area above here around 59.80, 60? Could this offer us maybe a reversal in price? Certainly. Right. This area right here, we get up to that level, could offer us, an opportunity to maybe take a reversal trade, right? So right now, I'm kind of on the camp of maybe looking for an opportunity that would maybe take me up to that level, but I'm not going to participate on the highs, right? I need to participate in something that pulls back to something, right? Whether it is this prior area, 58.90, okay, or whether it comes back to 59, I need some sort of retracement in order to participate in this upside move. Okay. So right now, I don't think we're about a few minutes away from this initial balance range beginning on the crude oil market. So we'll just wait and see how that plays out and see what kind of opportunities it does. But I think on the short term, at least on the shorter time frame, it does appear that we may be developing a little bit in the way of some bullish price action. That could easily keep us in this kind of 58 to 60 range for a bit. That's not out of the realm of possibility, but 58 to 60 is certainly tradable, right? We're not talking 58 to 58.50 or 58 to 58.25. Those are not tradable ranges, but 58 to 60, that's a tradable range, right? We probably want to look to fade maybe 60 and look to buy 58. Right now, we're kind of in the middle, right? We're at 59 and change, 59.40. Right. So while I'm not interested in buying retail, right, I consider this retail because I'm buying the highs. I might be inclined to participate if we get a little bit of a pullback. Get a little channel to come down my direction. Right. I say my direction. I'm just looking for an opportunity where I can manage my risk and participate in an upside move outside the channel. Okay, that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. Okay. So that's kind of what I see in the crude oil market, and I see a little bit of comments here about. Okay, happy to. Okay, yeah. So basically, yeah, it's tax time, guys. So before I move on to the markets, before I move on to the Nasdaq, I'm gonna make an appeal here to see if I can get a few likes. There's a little bit of a delta. It's not really a volume delta. There's a little bit of I don't know, let's call it a delta indicator. Okay. Our like delta indicator is a bit lacking at the moment. Okay. So I'm going to encourage you guys, if you are already, if you've benefited from analysis so far, yes, we're bullish here. We're bullish on the likes. We're bullish on the likes. We're not looking for a retracement. We're not looking for a retracement. We're looking for more momentum. We're looking for more momentum on the likes. Okay. So yeah, don't be afraid to hit the likes. And if you're not already a subscriber, subscribe. Leave me a comment or two. If some of this has resonated, has supported your journey as a trader. Okay. But yes, we are bullish on the likes. We are above the 50% retracement, right? Maybe looking to extend that, okay, to the 100%, right? Yes, we're looking for a like extension, correct? We're looking for a like extension, right, to the 100%, okay? All right. Now that I've gotten one additional like from that, let's go ahead and take a look at the equities. I know that everybody loves the equity markets. I again have kind of a love-hate relationship with them. How relevant IB for previous sessions in relation to current one? I use that as a driver to determine sentiment. You see how I use it, right? When you say relevant, can price come back to a prior, say IB high, from a prior session and react away from it? Yes. But I mainly use this evaluation of these IBs as a way to evaluate sentiment, right? So if I see the participants are able to break these ranges, right, or then that gives me a sense of direction. Okay, it gives me a sense of general market direction. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the Nasdaq here. All right, so Nasdaq. I don't know necessarily what to make of this, but I see that we had a tweet, right? Whatever, some news event that caused the market to go lower. Now the market seems to be in some sort of repair. Okay, we're still inside this candle. We have not made new highs, but 2 out of the last 3 candles have been bullish. Okay, and we continue, right? We continue to slope higher, right? The slope remains higher. Maybe if I look at it a little bit more closely, right? If I just look at this, if I just look at this, maybe that we're more in range. Thank you so much, Marie. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Okay, in more ways than one. You're very supportive of these markets. You get after my folks here to continue to support me. I very much appreciate what you do to enhance and provide a lot of value to the sessions here and in my room. So thanks again, and thanks for the $5. It'll go into my my coffee kitty. Okay, so thanks again. All right, so let's go ahead now. Now I've kind of an added motivation here. Let's go ahead and take a look at. All right, Marie. Let's go ahead and take a look at the. Let's see here. Wanted to look at the 4-hour. Okay. 4-hour chart. Okay. So again, kind of a little bit of. Again, I'm still kind of, feeling that these set of candles here. I understand that these set of candles were kind of news driven, right? But we could get some news event that could cause the market to continue. Right now it feels like we continue to want to grind to the upside, right? We're grinding to the upside. We have a 9 EMA that is sloping up, right? We have a VWAP that's sloping up, and it looks like it wants to break above 25,000. It seems to be kind of the line in the sand at the moment. Okay, so if we can get above 25,000, that would be relatively important. We have the potential of maybe potentially accelerating away from 25,000. We do see that we have VWAPs that are kind of sloping here to the upside. Again, my eye keeps seeing this red, right? And maybe I need to change the color of this, because this red keeps telling me why in the world are you thinking long when you see this red, right? And I understand that this red was generated because of some news event, not because of necessarily anything that's kind of related to normal kind of price action, right? So I'm kind of trying to, have that conversation with myself here. But nonetheless, we are still inside these set of bearish candles here, right? So whoever these two folk, or whoever the folks that were generated these two candles, they could step in at any time, right? But nonetheless, of late, we've been getting some bullish price action. Hasn't been like the kind of a grind, right? Natural kind of continuation, right? Thank you, Dave. All right, so here we are, right? We got a nice, right, 30-minute candles, right? Again, I don't know, guys. If you don't believe the 9 EMA, I don't know what to tell you, okay? But look how well price follows the 9 EMA, okay? Look how nicely it follows the 9 EMA. So if I'm bullish, right, and I waited for this 9 EMA to cross, I have the 9 EMA and the VWAP to keep me on the right side of the trade, right? What more can I ask? I have an objective measure on whether I'm in a valid trade to the upside, okay? Sure, we get a pullback here. Sure, we get a pullback there, but that's just that's a natural function of the market. The market is not going to move straight up or straight down. It's going to staircase its way, right? If we have something that helps guide us in that direction, well, as long as price remains above whatever objective measure, then we need to continue looking in that direction. All right. And let these indicators support our view. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile here. We're going to go ahead and start off with the Tuesday here. Okay. We're going to drag that across. All right. So here's the close. Okay. You can see that we just managed to get above value after all this movement. We just managed to get above value, right? So this area right here, I would expect, and it has been supportive, right? We break above value, similar to what we discuss all the time about initial balance, right? We get price to break the value area range, okay, from yesterday. We come back, we retest it, and what do? We find more of the same. We find more of the same participants that want to continue to drive price higher. Now, 25,000, I think, is going to be a level of interest here, right? That's kind of one of these destinations of the train, right? Now, the question is the train going to come back and revisit some of these other stations that it's left? That's kind of the question that we need to ask ourselves. But right now, we have a market that looks like it wants to continue higher. All right. So let's take a look and see what Asia and London were able to do with this market. So let's see if I can get this to behave. We'll start off with Asia. So what did Asia do with NASDAQ? Well, much the same that it did with gold, right? We got a nice extension to the upside. If you didn't believe in this move, then you got a retest of the same area. It held and offered us a nice extension to the upside. Okay, right? Nice extension here to the upside in the NASDAQ. London came in. London doesn't appear that it's really changed its tune, right? London seems to have followed Asia's lead, right? London also offered us an opportunity to the upside, right? Nice extension to the upside. Got to pull back to the 9 EMA, initial balance high, and off we go. So a lot of bulls, right? A lot of bulls, right? Yeah, these are combine passing moves. I agree. These are combine passing moves. I agree 100%, right? We don't want to be part of combine failing moves here, okay? These are combine failing moves. And the sooner we recognize when we are in a combine failing move, the greater chance we maybe run ourselves into a combine passing move. Okay, so I would say again a little bit extended. I would say to the upside in this market. I think if I opened up my ADR here, I'm assuming that we're probably already at the higher end of, let's see, where is my ADR? There it is. Yeah, we've already reached the top end of the market, right? You can see, I don't know if you guys can see that, but let's see if I can make this a little bit darker. Maybe darker is not the right thing to do here. Maybe lighter might actually help. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and change this. But yeah, I haven't really talked about this recently, but let's change this background to, say, I don't know, pink. Let's make this a little bit bolder. Okay. So you can see here that we reached the top end of the range. Yeah, they serve chop suey there. I'm a steak kind of guy. I don't like my chop suey. I like to have my steak. So let me be part of this. Let me be part of this train. Okay. All right. So here we are up against an area, right? Up against an area that we would expect maybe price to maybe potentially lose a little bit of momentum. All right. We've exceeded the range, but we cannot deny the fact that we are in a sustained move here to the upside. So headed into this session, both Asia and London are indicating that the market still has some room here to the upside. 25,000 again, I think is going to be kind of a level that I'm going to be watching. That would be a natural level. I would say that we could maybe get a rotation away, but I'm not just going to randomly pick a location up at the highs and just want to fade it, right? That's not the way that's not the way it works, right? I'd like to see some evidence. 3-bar reversal, price closing below the 9 EMA, price closing below the VWAP. You know, I need some evidence that says that maybe we are going to rotate in the other direction. I can't just pick the top because I think it's a top and because I entered the market, it needs to follow me. No, I need to see market participants. We have to react to what the market tells us, right? We are not leading the markets in any sort of direction, right? We're trying to time our way into a trade here. So we'll have to see, right? Right now, like I said, NASDAQ does appear to be bullish. And if anything, you know, we need to see if we can find some opportunities at a location where we could participate in this, right? So we have this 24,000, what's that, 920 level, right? 925. That's the high end of London, right? This area down below, right? We broke this range. That's 24,976. Okay, that seems another logical area. If I'm bullish, that's along the 9 EMA. Okay, all right. So enough about NASDAQ. I would say NASDAQ does appear to be bullish, but I have come into an area where I could potentially find some sellers. And it would not surprise me in the least if we pull back here a bit, okay, before we make any sort of further move to the upside, okay? 25,000 does appear to be that level for me. But again, we'll have to kind of wait and see. We'll have to wait and see how this initial balance range establishes in the U.S. market, and then go from there. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the ES. Looking at the ES again, similar kind of price action that we saw, maybe even with a little bit more strength. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my ADR here for a moment. You can see here that we are getting a series of candles here on the daily. We have yet to make a new high, but three of the last candles here have been bullish, right? And the candle that was bearish was not all that strong to the bearish side. Okay, so fair amount of bullish momentum that's coming into this market. Okay, we are again getting above our 9, getting above our VWAP, and we're starting to see maybe that these things are kind of returning to more sloping kind of 9 and VWAP in the upward direction. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart again, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my initial balance ranges here. You can see here that we've broken an area here around 67.15. Okay, this area I would expect to be somewhat supportive, assuming that we are able to hold this level. Okay. And we have kind of a target above us, right? You can see this high volume node. Market likes to move from out of balance to balance. Well, where's our balance there? Where's our balance zone? This is our balance zone, right? Right. That's kind of where we're trying to get to, right? Market moves from balance, from balance to imbalance back to balance. Well, that's our target. That's our area of balance. So this point of control, I would say, is going to serve as some sort of gravitational pull, right? And the closer we get to this, without seeing the participation on the opposite direction, that it is going to naturally want to head higher. Okay. Let's take a look at the fixed range volume profile. Again, suspect what I already know here. We're going to go ahead and move down to the 30-minute chart for that. So looking at the 30-minute chart, you can see that we're kind of grinding, hugging the 9 EMA all along the way, right? Nothing here outside of this most recent candle. We're getting a little bit of a bearish candle before the start of the market, but everything here has been quite orderly move here to the upside. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. We're going to compare yesterday's session with today's price action here, and there you have it. Right, price remains above our value from yesterday. Okay, so if I'm looking for a little bit of a discount, right, then I can do a lot worse and wait for this. What is that? 67.20 level. 67.20 level. Okay, doesn't appear to be a bad area location wise for maybe an opportunity for maybe further upside. If we break below 67.20, break below our VWAP, then maybe we can look for maybe a rotation a little bit further. But up at right now, my view is maybe we pull back to this value area zone, and then maybe that offers us, this area right here. Yeah, this is the value area high from yesterday from our fixed range volume profile right here. Okay, so this 67.20 level, right? And you can see that this is also exhibiting itself on the volume profile as well. Okay, all right. So in any case, we are again a little bit extended. We don't stay too far away from VWAP before we start to maybe come back and want to revisit it, right? Have you hugged your VWAP today? Well, no, we haven't. We hugged it a little bit around the start of London, okay, time frame, but did not since. Okay, so a little bit extended to the upside, so would not be out of the realm of possibility here for the market to pull back here a little bit, maybe offer us maybe an opportunity. We're going to take a look at the initial balance ranges, see what the initial balance range is. I suspect that we're already at the highs at the ADR level. Okay, so we've already statistically reached our ranges that we normally get from these markets. I'm going to take a look at the initial balance range here and take a look and see what these various sessions were able to do. All right, so looking at the Asia session, okay, Asia does appear to be, bullish, right? We got a nice extension, a reversal back to IB high, and off we go. London, similar path, right? London exceeded the range, didn't really give us all that much of a pullback, back down to initial balance high, and off we go, right? So right now we have a developing bearish candle ahead of the session. So it would not be surprising for me if we were to come back and retest maybe the highs of London right around the 67.20 level before we made any sort of concerted effort to head higher. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing in the markets right now. I would say that the market remains bullish. Like I said, price remains above our VWAP, so I'm bullish, but could not entirely out of the realm of possibility, given the fact that we've already exceeded the range, that we could see a little bit of a pullback before maybe we continue to the upside. Okay. All right. Let's take a peek here at the Dow. All right. We'll start off with the daily chart and see what the daily chart has to say about all of this. So daily chart, again, might even be a little bit stronger. I've seen more candles kind of chew away at some of this bearish price action that we've been seeing of late. That was news generated. I feel like this candle is a lot higher and than any of the other equity markets, right, that we've seen so far. Okay, so in comparison, the Dow feels in some ways stronger to me. Okay. Looking at the 4-hour chart, 4-hour chart, again, similar to what we're seeing in the other markets. Price is above our VWAP, above our 9 EMA, coming into an area where we could see maybe some resistance, okay, in price, right? Look over here to the left-hand side, 47,000 has been a level that has not been friendly to buyers, right? Every time we've come up to this 47,000 level, that has been met with some sellers. Could this happen again? Certainly, certainly possible, right? But I'm not just going to arbitrarily short here at the highs, right? Or short here at the highs, right? I need some evidence. I need something to indicate to me price closing below VWAP, price closing below the 9 EMA, and then maybe I can take an opportunity to the downside in this market. All right. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart, we see that we're having a developing bearish candle here. We're starting to work our way maybe possibly below the 9 EMA here. We're up at these highs here around 46,750. Okay, this could offer us maybe another rotation here to the downside. Taking a look at our fixed range volume profile here. We're going to go ahead and look at the start of the session to the close of the session here, and we're actually inside range. I was actually kind of talking about the fact that it felt like the Dow, it was a little bit more bullish, but technically we haven't made a new high. We haven't. There's no higher value here that's been created yet. Okay, we have this area, this value area high has actually served as a little bit of resistance. Okay, so maybe with these set of candles, maybe we are in for maybe a rotation, maybe back down to this settlement price that I have down below here at 46,500. Okay, right now we're working our way below this 9 EMA, and we could get maybe some potential follow through here, assuming we can get below the VWAP. That could offer us maybe a rotation back down to this 46,500 level. Okay. Let's take a look at initial balance here before we move on and look at the other markets. Just going to quickly see kind of the progression that's been made between the various sessions. Okay, so the Asia proven to be long, right? We managed to head higher. London also looks like we managed to also break higher, although we're seeing some rejection of, I don't know, the 150% extension of the initial balance range. If we do manage to close back inside initial balance from London, that could offer us maybe a rotation back to VWAP and maybe below, right? So yeah, right now I'm seeing on the short term, on a short time frame, I'm seeing a little bit more in the way of some maybe a bearish price action here, at least especially with this most recent candle. We'll have to see how this current candle closes. If it holds above this 46,655, 654 level, or whether it rotates maybe a little bit lower down to this 46,600 level. So let's make one final pass here across all the markets, guys. We'll take a look here at the gold market, and the gold market right now, you can see that Asia very bullish. London, not so much. London, not so much. Price was not able to hold inside the initial balance range. So we have a little bit of an indecision bar here, right at the edge of initial balance low. All right. We can go in a couple of directions here, right? We can either continue right to the downside, which seems the more natural path, given the fact that we're below the initial balance low, we're below our 9 EMA and kind of hovering right around the VWAP. Okay, that would be the more natural path. If price closes back inside initial balance and can get above 42.20, then I would say that maybe we are in for maybe another move here to the upside. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my channels here for that possibility. Otherwise, I have to kind of look at the top end of this channel and look for some opportunities, for continued opportunities to the downside in this market, at least for now. Okay. Crude oil market, crude oil, when we looked last, was kind of moving pretty strongly to the upside. Looks like it's kind of stalled here a little bit. Let's take a look at what kind of initial balance range we're developing here in the crude oil. So we're going to open that up here. Okay, so this is our initial balance range. We were on a pretty steady climb here. We got to this 59.40 level. All right, 59.40 level. Looks like we found some at least temporary, or maybe some folks that maybe are taking some profits out of this market here. Right, market does appear to be a little bit bullish on the shorter time frame. Will be interesting to see. I don't know how I managed to get my. I don't know how I managed to get my. There it is. Okay, there's our initial balance back where it needs to be. All right. So we have our initial balance range. We're developing a bearish. So a little bit extended to the upside. If I'm bullish, and it would be hard to be bullish on crude oil, but if I am bullish, then this 9 EMA around 59, okay, would be a nice logical level, maybe to potentially participate, maybe as low as 58.80 would also be a logical location. If I'm short, well, I'm getting some price action that would indicate that maybe we are in store for maybe at least a pullback back down to this area in yellow. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the equities. So equity markets, we were, I think, somewhat kind of neutral on these markets. We've seen some bullish price action in both Asia and London, both to the upside. Price remains above the 9 EMA. So I would say that outside of the fact that we're developing this bearish candle, I think the market is showing strength. We are at a level where we could see a reversal in price. Certainly would not be out of the realm of possibility to come back down to this point of control that I have here on the right-hand side, and VWAP is also there, and still be a natural move back and still be in bullish structure, right? So I'm not really keen on participating to the bullish side at these levels. Probably more inclined to wait for price to come to a level where I can better manage my risk. Okay, and I've kind of shared with you a couple of locations for that. Same is true, I think, in the ES, right? We have, again, still some bullish price action, developing some maybe short-term bearish, looking at maybe VWAP or maybe this point of control to offer me a location, and also some prior structure to offer me a location where maybe I could take an opportunity to the upside. I think on the short term, maybe, looking for a small, bearish, assuming that this candle closes below the 9 EMA, maybe it gives me an opportunity where I can take price down to the point of control. It's more of kind of the scalp variety, until I can get a better price location to entertain longs. All right. And then last but not least is the Dow. The Dow also showing us some signs of weakness here up against the value high of yesterday. And I'm assuming that we're already at our ADR levels to the upside. Sure enough, we are. Nice little reversal pattern away from the average daily high, right? So this could offer us maybe a little bit of a move here to the downside in the Dow. Okay. So I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys today, guys, with about, I don't know, a couple minutes to spare before the markets open. So again, looks like we've reached we're close to reaching the 100% like extension. Okay. We're kind of one like away from full blown 12 to reach the 100% extension of our likes. And thanks again, Marie, for your contribution to my coffee. Okay. I will drink my coffee in your honor. All right. But nonetheless, guys, we'll go ahead and close the session at this point. Wishing you guys to trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again soon. All right, Sapadia, have a good day trading, and yeah, I think that's it. All right, Mark. Thank you, Aslan. You're welcome, Dirk. Just make my little comment here. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, there it is. De nada, Alejandro. Slow and steady. Yeah, you have a whole different definition of what slow and steady is, Mark. Your slow and steady and my slow and steady are not incongruent right now. All right, guys, have a great session, and we'll talk soon.